Tres.
Well, good evening, teacher. My name is Jazmin Tipula, and I'm going to talk about session one, which is about culture in business changes generated by globalization. Well, one of the principal consequences about new globalization of culture is that it not only leads to homogenization of work culture, but also that it largely represents the Americanization of work cultures. For example, in that infographic, we can see how globalization changes our daily business operation. Well, it increases competition, peer international employees' expectation, and global communication challenges. I'm going to mention a case. For example, we have seen it with the opening of the McDonald's restaurant in China. In the past, it was not considered proper for Chinese children to buy food with their own money. So, as they were expected to eat what was put in front of them, but which McDonald's marketing for children, kids developed interest in choosing their own food when going to McDonald's. After some time, it became more of a common practice for children to buy their food with their own money. McDonald's also popularized birthday parties in China. In the past, festivities marketing a child birthday were not celebrated in China. McDonald's established a new tradition by successfully promoting American-style birthday parties as part of its marketing strategy. And now my partner is going to talk about solutions to apply.
Hi, my name is Torres Espinoza, Shakira Fiorella. Yes, Jazmin, as you mentioned, as globalization is getting progress and many companies are working around the world, in order to give a solution, I think that McDonald's can learn more about the business etiquettes of China, their culture, their tradition, because they are very different from the American culture. So in order to have better result with them and be closer with this kind of customer, I mean, they have to learn more about them.
Yes, is agree with you, Fios and Jasmine, and I, Lucero Hinostroza, but I little to be funny because it's true when McDonald's entered to Peruvian market, he wanted to impose his typical North American breakfast, but it still didn't achieve the change our eating habits. Some companies succeed and others don't because our culture is about the Creole food in the morning, of afternoon, and dinner. But in this case, a special case is done, for example, the spread the fluence. Continues, I talked to about the session three employee training and generational change strategies to become more emotional intelligent. The first is about to what is the first. For example, job training is one of the most important initiatives in with a company, but unfortunately one of the most dismissed by managers. But it's important because much of our life is spent working. It isn't not an exaggeration to affirm that almost half or existence is in the workplace. So in principle is the collaboration who have a clear insistence to care about a pleasant environment. However, now the interest has spread to companies. So the biggest question is why are companies interested in the well-being of their workers? The reasons are more than ethical or altruistic, they are more pragmatic. For example, one of the advantages is a good work environment can be created through environment of the respect, empathy, construction of pleasing physical spaces, benefit for the collaboration such as flexible hours, professional growth, and generating a balance between a professional and personal. Imagine, for example, my partners, the future bosses, for example, that your collaborators were late with the excessive overtime. Doesn't mean that they are committed to the work. It doesn't spell travel. If one drawback is would be that a person who is unhappy can give the best of himself or herself. That has a direct impact on the company it may expect. On the other hand, as a serious advantage is that if the work climate changes, the employee increases his performance by up to 10 or 100%. In nowadays is about I talk to about the for example cases in our country. For example, Peruvian cases. I have two cases for state company and private company. I begin to the state. For example, nowadays service companies have a high staff turnover mainly because the entities don't know how to retain their employees. Although it's true that most people look for a workplace where the remuneration is higher, this will not the main problem when a collaborative change to direct the competition for 10% more remuneration. For example, call centers in metropolitan Lima is a business that has a high demand for collaboration and in turn higher turnover of them since entities don't take time to meet their employees. But for other case about to Kimberly Clark Peru, for example, is totally opposite to state. For example, they have a team dedicated entirely the work environment, and is the task directly involves and all leaders have to organization. These are directly responsibilized for maintain good weather in your specific area. For example, that responsibly has reflect increased goals that are evaluated and if one of that doesn't reach those objectives, it like not have met the same goal or is the has the same weight. What is about your opinion, Jasmine?
Well, uh, there exists a lot of solutions to apply in both cases, state and private case. Well, first, in call centers in metropolitan Lima, the biggest problem that you say, like you say, is communication. It is beneficial for the company to report periodically of the benefits of the job they have, comparing it to the competition. They can be, I don't know, transmitted through focus groups, online databases, and or direct attention. Attitude and job compliance surveys are also helpful. In this way, the company can focus on reminding its weakness with employees. And not just that, most people are dissatisfied with their work environment because sometimes the conditions in the company are not optimist, so they end up leaving their position, causing a constant rotation in organizations. Some additional strategies that should be applied are fair wages, a good working environment, and greater flexibility. Since when working all week around, I don't know, 9 hours, even 10 hours a day, it is complex for which it would be valuable to have changes in schedules or shifts, fixed obtain permits to carry out personal affairs and attend to family needs. These people will want to keep their position because they will feel that the company or they is understanding and empathy on the part of the company. On the other hand, the private case, Kimberly Clark, they, well, like you say, they really worried about their employees.
Yes, about what you mentioned, both. It is true that nowadays companies have so many workers that it is difficult to get to know and have a closer contact with each one. What matters most nowadays is their productivity and for employees to obtain a good salary. Well, but now I'm going to mention about the session 13 that is about channels for promoting products in foreign markets. As we can see, this is about the modern consumer wants the freedom to research, shop, and pay for products and services across multiple channels. These multiple channels are three. First, single channel. This method involves the traditional sale when you go directly to the store to buy. Multi-channel, this method is more innovative because it is not only to go to the store to choose what you want to buy, you can also use the website of the store. And omnichannel, this last method, is more complete and is held by large companies that can fulfill all the logistical processes involved in selling online. One case could be Sephora. I heard about this a lot because they create an omnichannel experience that connects shoppers online purchase to their in-store visits. And these include a beauty bag account while shopping. You can uh, save time not going to this store, and you can buy by the web and have a wish list, a beauty bag feature, and you can buy whatever you want in a simple way. Now, what do you think, please, Lucero?
Ah, okay, that's right. As you mentioned, Sephora adapt to the new world and applying a commercial strategy that is the omnichannel, uh, making to the shopping experience different. For example, I heard that they are implement try to buy is a buying a perfume online, but if the proof include it, that means that when you buy the product will come with an additional simple, and so you can use to find out if you like the fragrance, and if not you return it. That is that simple. For me it's a good option because I don't like these fragrances. I return to them as like it. In addition to this, their live chat is a highly personalized, sorry, because it is for example this is the common robot is they are very expert or our artists from or celebrities from Sephora. And finally, it's interactive virtual channel or maybe to subscriptions the service. I remember to $10 a year, similar to Amazon Prime. They offer to customer free shipping on all their products within the 48 hours. It's a good option to this.
Well, yeah, like Lucero say, the rise of the internet have changed the retail business. Say one of their customer visits their website looking for a mask for age lash, but decides not to buy it right away. Later, while browsing Facebook, they click on your ad with a coupon code they can use on your website and end up making the purchase. During checkout, they choose to pick up the purchase at the brick and mortar location. In this example, their customer interacts with their business through three different tech points and has a seamless and consistent experience at each one. What Sephora is doing is providing buyers with a perfect shopping experience. Well, now if we are going to resume all of this session, I have to start with the session one, which is about the culture in business changes generated by globalization. Well, a resume about this topic is well, globalization have a lot of benefits. We can mention some of them, which is the thanks for globalization, we have access to new markets, and even we have a lower cost for products. Uh, well, this really helpful for each business because they can higher their profit in each product. And what do you think about the session three, Lucero?
For example, when you mention about the globalization is the first to beginning to, for example, the match perfect about the company's traditional and spread or influence or connection or about to the new culture. For example, nowadays you know about to the I don't remember the for example the Avenue Capone or maybe to the culture the the Asian culture is more than, for example, like to other years, and American styles is impressed to, for example, the clothes or maybe to the habits. But it's important to recognize, don't lose your essential or maybe the first, for example, your habits. Is important to recognize what is your, for maybe two routines in these cases about the Peruvian traditionalists, but because in around the world is about to, or the food or maybe the dancers is really for example amazing for the foreign people. No, what is your opinion about Fios in this case?
Well, finally, for this kind of topic that I mentioned, about the channels, nowadays are very important because we are in a very difficult time that we cannot go to the stores as normally. And the best way to buy things are doing by the website and save our life about this kind of coronavirus.
Yes,
That's all.
it's important. It's important
Yeah,
to be realistic,
uh,
no?
like you say, all of this topic that we mentioned is really important for business. Well, it's really helpful. More of that. Well,
About the globalization, yes.
Yeah, for example, nowadays is not untypical because have to try to learn about to service, other cultures, about to maybe to the protect to each other, maybe to work in team nowadays because, for example, oh, in the job is not job traditional is not common now. It's not common, but the technology influence in a positive is a good for all of them, good for you. For example, just meaning your work, you have changed about to the traditional than now, maybe.
yeah, you're right. Like you said, all summarized there, even each topic.
Yes, no, it's totally changed for example, my parents totally changed about the jobs. I imagine, I suppose, in your cases it's the same or maybe not, but nowadays our realistic is totally focused on the super, for example, survive the pandemic, uh, or maybe to try to give positive opportunities nowadays. For example, the omni-channel that Torres is a good option. I recommend
Yes,
that. Yes, no, no,
using the technology.
yes, about to all of technology. It's not only, for example, the apps or maybe websites. It's totally complete. For example, I remind to, for example, the apps, website, service, maybe the celebrity when you talk about what is the first makeup perfect or why not. It completely changed the experience. Is, for example, near or close to to company, no, or a product, future product when I'll buy.
Yes, a lot of topics very interesting to talk about all the night, but it was nice to hear all of you girls. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.